Well, hey there, Indianapolis Healthplex members, back again with another episode of the Indianapolis Healthplex podcast. Joining us, as always, the wonderful and magnificent, the wonderful, talented Mr. Chris Lanning with us.
That's quite the intro there. I like that, Randall. Man, yeah, I'm really excited to be joining you, Randall, and we'll be having some really, really great times here on the podcast. Some good guests appearing on these. So, yeah, really excited.
Absolutely, I look forward to it. And you're the one that's the very talented one, knows a lot about fitness, as you have a doctorate degree. So you definitely know your stuff, and you definitely know what you're talking about. But not to waste too much time, we really want to dive into it, and really excited about the structure that we've really put together for the next really 5 to 6 months of different content that we can have. But we always want our members' feedback on what they want to hear and what they want to talk about on the podcast here.
Yeah, this is for the members. And it's funny because I get some of the same questions when I work with clients throughout my week. And sometimes it's good to just kind of put it on air, put it on a podcast so that everyone knows, what is mobility? What is stability? How do I know if I have good balance? How do I know if I have good flexibility? These are questions that we'll dive into throughout these podcasts. And we've broken this up into a good format where I think people will get a lot of their questions answered. And then, as always, your feedback, like you said, Randall, is great for us because we can dive into topics and do evidence-based practice kind of stuff where we're looking at research to help answer some of these deeper questions that sometimes people they think, but they don't always remember to ask, or sometimes it's hard to know when to ask or how to ask it. So we'll dive into that.
Absolutely. And really, we kind of doing this kind of on a month-to-month basis. Really about 4 different episodes will be considered one topic. And we'll have special guests for each topic that we bring up just to kind of clarify and bring some more expertise on each thing. One of the things that we're really excited about starting July 1st week would be the mobility and flexibility topic. Chris, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I think it's a good one to start with because it's the foundation for everything. If you don't have good mobility and flexibility, how do you expect to become stronger? Just like balance, if you don't have good flexibility and mobility, how do you expect to stay on your feet and prevent falls? So I think mobility and flexibility is a good place to start. It's the foundation for me when I start with all my clients through the functional movement screen that we talk a lot about here. And so that's kind of my plug for that is if you haven't had a functional movement screen, a health risk assessment, definitely get that done. But yeah, Randall, mobility and flexibility, how do I know if I am flexible or if I'm not flexible? How do I even find that out? So we'll talk about that. We're going to be talking about why is flexibility important? So a lot of people are like, why do I need to be flexible in order to maybe lift a certain amount of weight? Or if I'm an athlete, why do I need to have flexibility if I'm in a specific sport? So we'll kind of touch on the why with that. And then how often do I need to stretch? How long do I stretch? These are questions that I get all the time from people. There are a lot of philosophies out there. And so we'll talk about how long do I hold a stretch? How often do I stretch throughout the day? And we'll be referencing reputable sources. The American College of Sports Medicine puts out great information based off of evidence, based off of research. And these are things that I touch base with and in line with every week. If they put something out, get different emails, get different kind of just notifications if new research comes out with things. So it's definitely a good thing to always stay up to date on the new evidence-based practice things as we work with clients. And then the last step, joining the Indianapolis Healthplex, what are next steps that I can take along my journey of increasing my mobility and strength? And that's kind of what the flow of all these will be. We'll be touching on balance. Again, what does my balance say about my overall health? How can I increase my balance? How do I know if my balance is off? Sometimes those are easy questions because it's like, if you're having increase falls. Well, obviously your balance, isn't good, and those are things that can become easy to pick up on. But then some people, they may just want to know, if you're an athlete, how can I increase my balance on the field? Sometimes we think about balance being with older populations, but you also need good balance if you're on the basketball court, in order to have good mobility and flexibility, kind of going back to that first point. In order to reach up to get a rebound, you're landing on one foot, after you land, and you need good stability and balance and good overall strength, to be able to do that, to prevent injury. So just like with the mobility and flexibility, kind of that second topic we'll talk about, with balance is, why is balance so important? How do I improve my balance? And then lastly, what are next steps to kind of get connected? So.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we talk about those next steps, those are kind of the times when we're going to have our special guest. When we talk about how to join the Indianapolis Healthplex, that's really a good one to bring on Nicole Etchison, our membership director here, to kind of talk about some special ways and some special promotions that we have here, and really fit the best ways of how we can enhance your fitness goals and meet those fitness goals that you have, and enhance your overall fitness experience. So I think that she would be a great addition to the show, and as well as the balance portion, having our fitness director, Michael Clemens, coming on to the show, and just talking about of how you can necessarily get connected with a personal trainer or get you scheduled for a HRA. He has a lot of experience, and I know you work with him directly every single day, Chris, with everything that he does, and I know that he can bring a lot of expertise along with your knowledge to really help members out there of what they need to do in order to meet their fitness goals.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. We have a team approach, a family approach, and that's what makes us unique here at the Indianapolis Healthplex. We all have our special niches, and so it'll be fun to have these guests on, because these people not only have a little bit of experience, they have a lot of experience, and they have years of experience, and that's what sets you apart, in our industry. From a standpoint of you being able to reach goals for people, reach goals for clients. That's what it all comes down to is, not only just working hard and coming in, but wanting to come in. There's an aspect of that too, where some of my clients, they're like, wow, I didn't know I was paying to come in, and also have a funny story, or have a comedian that I also work with as well, in addition to getting stronger and continue to increase my balance and my strength. And that's what makes it fun. I'm telling funny stories while we're stretching. And that's what it's all about, is making this fun. And that's what we'll be talking about too, is there's a way to do that, to make it fun, and not doing the same program every day. And then you fall loose from that track, and then next thing you know, you're kind of back at square one. And so there's a way that fitness can be fun, and we'll talk about that.
Absolutely. So. I think that's, shout out to our general manager, Adnan Hyder, and I think he does a great job of explaining the fact that this is a clinically based facility and fitness center, but also does a great job of also wanting to highlight the employees, the faces, the personalities that actually work here, getting to know them on a personal basis, so you're not just going to work out with a personal trainer that just tells you what to do, you go home and you didn't connect with anybody. I think that's what separates the Indianapolis Healthplex from other gyms and other healthplexes across not just this city but across this country. That personal family feel that you get when you walk in these doors, and that's what we want to exemplify when we're talking over the podcast or when you come in through our doors.
Yeah, hopefully it makes your day great. You get welcomed at the front desk with a nice smile, and when you come in, you know that no matter what kind of day you've had, and I've had clients tell me this, like, I can put that outside the door and I can just forget about whatever's going on at work, whatever's going on at home, and I can just let loose and feel free and work on my health, and it's just my time, and I think that's always just important to kind of bring up, is that, you can that's the fun thing about when you come into our building, you kind of put all the stuff that you don't want to talk about, things that, you have going on at work or at home, and just put those off to the side and just focus on you, your health, and you'll be surprised how that can lead into a better work life or better family life, just you may not be as grumpy or as grumpy, and it just leads to other things, lower stress, lower anxiety. There's a lot of good research out there with that. So yeah, it'll be really fun. Some of the other key points that we'll talk about are agility. So Stanson, he's a trainer here. He played collegiate soccer, high school soccer as well. Really has great footwork himself. If you've ever seen him with cones out and ladders, I mean, he does an incredible job with people with that. He's a guru when it comes to agility on how to practice if you're an athlete. And so we'll bring him in to our podcast. But first and foremost, I mean, we're going to be talking about what is this stuff first. What is agility, and just start from a very foundational, basic level. And then how does agility change from an athlete to an active adult? That's a huge topic in itself, with all these, with balance too. We kind of touched on it earlier, but, balance means something different for a younger person than it does for an older person. Same thing with agility. For agility, an athlete may mean something as far as being able to cut fast on the field, that kind of thing, having the proper coordination, strength within their joints, flexibility, mobility, that kind of thing, and balance. But then also, if you're an older person, you also have agility, and you need to work on agility as well. It may look a little bit different, but sometimes we correlate agility with young people, and that's not specifically true. I think all the populations need to work on all this, and that's what will make these podcasts so unique, is that we're covering all angles, all different populations, and that this isn't specific for one person that's 50 years old. This is going down. If you're younger, we're obviously going to be talking about kids as well, and how to keep them moving and stuff too. So, and then strength. What is strength? Levels of strength. Why is strength so important? Next steps, going into that, different phases of strengthening, powerlifting. If you're looking to do that, we'll be touching base with Shane on that topic. And then lastly, healthy kids. That's going to be our last kind of topic that we'll be talking about. Talking with Rebecca. She's in charge of all of our kids stuff here at the Indianapolis Healthplex. Really excited to have her join us to figure out ways that you can keep your kids active and also work on different things at the same time. So if you have young ones at home, definitely want to tune in for that podcast as well.
Absolutely. I think she's a great guest to have, as she just had a child of her own not too long ago. So that's a great thing to get from a parental standpoint, as well as a healthy kids, as someone who deals with our kid population every single day.
Yeah, and I it's so important, and I brought this up a lot on my live videos that we've been doing during this quarantine period and stuff. We've been posting on all of our social media outlets, and it's good when, not only am I doing these podcasts, throughout the week, and we're going through these topics, but these are things that I talk about with my clients that day, like, which is fun because, if I'm talking about a topic that I don't really deal with a lot, I'm not going to know as much about it. That's with anything anyone talks about. These are things that I get asked a lot. How can I improve this, or how can I do that? These are questions that I'm working through every day with people. So that's what makes this really unique in this setting. So.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, I'm excited. That's going to take us for a nice little chunk of the year of different topics we can talk about. And of course, like we said from the beginning, we always want your feedback. Give us different topics you want us to touch on. Give us different questions you have. And of course, we'll incorporate it into our podcast and get those questions answered for you. And if we can, we'd love to have you come into our doors so we can meet you face to face and address your fitness goals on a personal level that way as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Some of the best people that I've worked with, they're the ones that have come into our facility just looking for an answer, or they've called us and said, hey, do you have anyone that can help me with strength or mobility? And then we get one of our trainers kind of connected to them, and that is the best thing. Just by calling and say, hey, I want to work on this, or I want to work on that. What do I need to do? We'll guide you to that next step. We'll get you to someone that'll help you. So that is all you need to do, is just reach out. either come in or call us, say that you're interested in something. We'll obviously definitely get you connected to the right people to that. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, as always, we thank you for joining us for the Indianapolis Healthplex podcast. Always a pleasure having you with us, Chris. Thank you so much.
This is fun. This is fun, Randall. Yeah, this will be a good time. I'm looking forward to it as well. So,
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, you got all your professional equipment set up. We got a professional little placement set up here, so this will be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Quality information and quality content for a quality gym.
There you go.
That's what we want. So, as always, join us each and every single week for these podcasts every Sunday at 12 noon. We'll post a new one every single week. Always follow us and join us on Spotify. Or if you want to put a face to a voice, check us out on YouTube, as we'll have video content available for you on there. But ultimately, follow us and stay connected on our other social media channels. For anything happening at the Indianapolis Healthplex, follow us on Instagram, or check us out and like us on Facebook as well. Or you also, with the younger generation, like TikTok, check us out on TikTok as well. We always love the different mechanisms that we have to check out our social media, and want you to stay connected with the happenings here at the Indianapolis Healthplex. So with that being said, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Yeah, we love you guys. Take care.